Good evening. The Three Musketeers back together once again, because last night was an absolute shit show, and it sounded like Simon was doing some kind of Shakespeare monologue for some part in a play in the West End. However, Simon,
It was very good.
I must congratulate you. It was wonderful.
Thanks.
So well done you for taking that on your own late on, because there was just a complete calamity and communication, wasn't there? It was my night off, but there we go. Anyway, here we are. So the three of us are here. Well, because we decided that three of us should talk about what happened yesterday, which is what we will start with. But what a relief that all three of us can sit here and talk about what is one of the greatest thing I'm sure I will ever witness on a cricket field. Agreed?
I saw someone shagging under the hover cover at Lords, which I think to this day is one of the greatest things I've seen on a cricket field. However, yes, during a game, definitely this one. He's a very famous cricketer, and I can't actually tell you who it was. I will do it off air.
Have you just added voyeur to your
no
questionable attributes?
We were in an event in the long room and said high caliber, very, very good cricketer took one of the female guests from the event out under the hover cover.
Lovely.
It was unbelievable.
Back to cricket. On the strip at home of cricket.
Test wicket as well. Pleasure.
Oh, nailed it. Literally. Nailed it. Right, on we go, gentlemen. So
I don't know where to go from there. I don't know where to.
Glen Maxwell.
Maxwell's innings was good, but
probably to the clinic.
Yeah,
I feel like I need to go and have a shower after that story. So yesterday, right, Simon, you obviously did the recording last night on your own, which I still feel guilty about. But when we spoke earlier in the day, you said you have now found out more information since then. So if you want to do a bit of for anyone that missed it, do a bit of a brief recap of where your head was last night, and then what you've learned today, and kind of where you are now, and then we will have a group discussion.
So brief synopsis. Last night, all I'd heard with the fourth umpire report. I'd not actually seen any confirmation of times and anything like that, and I was of the opinion as if he indeed was out of time when the strap broke, he was quite correct in being given out. If he wasn't, then the questions needed to be asked. I also had a question as to how Shakib Al Hasan had been made aware of the fact that it was overtime. Now, so some people might say this is normal for me. I was sat on the fence a little bit with it last night, pending information. Well, today I've received that information. When his chin strap broke, there had been 1 minute and 54 seconds since the catch was taken. Now, with the best will in the world, he ain't going to be ready, having not taken guard, by the way. He's not taken guard. He ain't going to take guard and be ready to face the next ball in 6 seconds. So,
might not have wanted a guard.
He ain't going to be ready. If he didn't want a guard, well, why did he need helmet against a spinner for a start? Anyway, this is not. Speaking of not wanting a guard, we'll come back to that when we talk about short format hit and giggle cricket. But he ain't going to be ready in 6 seconds. So, and obviously this is according to the BBC website. It had gone through it and analysed it and said from the moment the catch was taken and it was found to be out, he was 1 minute, 54 seconds. No other batter in the entire game took longer than 100 seconds to be ready to face their ball, their first ball. So, in my opinion,
that's 1 minute 40 seconds for people who can't do their timing maths.
Fundamental mathematics. He's an idiot. It's another example of what we saw in the summer, which is Mitchell Stark sliding along with the ball on the floor and Johnny Bairstow walking out of his ground. By the same token, I think it's a prime example of what he has done. He's been an idiot and given the opposition captain the opportunity to enforce a law that is there for a reason, and he's out. He's just out. It's turned out that what happened was another fielder ran up into the group, whether he was told by someone off the edge of the pitch, and it basically ran up to Shakib and went, if you appeal, he's out, by the way. And then that happened. So if I was Shakib, would I have appealed? No. The same as if I was Pat Cummins in the Ashes test, would I have appealed? No, or would I have withdrawn that appeal? Yes, I would have withdrawn the appeal. However, Angela Matthews has only got himself to blame. He's put himself in a position by dallying where he's given them the opportunity to enforce what is a slightly more questionable law. Yes, there's this the niche to it during an ICC tournament that takes it from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. But my opinion is he's out. Like he's got nothing to complain about. He's put himself in that position. So, yeah. What do you
Eugene?
I got nothing more to add except it's not going to be good for the recreational game. And what I mean by that is when Mancad became a fashionable thing to do, it started becoming more and more popular in the recreational game and causing a little bit more icks between teams. And I think we're now going to go down the route of if ick. I don't know what the long word for ick is, but yeah.
What the fuck is it? All I know is I heard what's her name use it on the Test match special commentary today.
Oh, something gives you the ick. I think it gives you
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But as we saw Mancad become more fashionable in club cricket in 2022 and 2023, I think timed outs are now going to become fashionable in 2024. I'm not a fan of all of the different laws. You know, look, by law of the book, it's out. I get it, 100% on board. But it's not something, you know, I often get asked, would I Mancad anyone? My answer is personally no, I wouldn't do that. Would I time someone out if I was captain? Again, like Robert just said, I wouldn't.
Hold my beer. So I'm with you, on it. I am not a fan of. I've always liked to play the game in the fairest possible way, and I think that supersedes laws as a captain or as an umpire. I think the umpires we're forced into a position in order to uphold the laws of the game, and they were kind of they Erasmus and I can't remember who the one was. Richard Illingworth. We're put in a no-win situation, so you know I think they've done their duty, and you can't complain of them. I once played in a game against Streatham and Marlborough, and there was a fellow called Dan Ellis who was widely accepted to be the best batsman in our league. Our leg spinner, I'm stood at first slip, obviously. Leg spinner,
not as a catcher,
one.
by the way, just so everyone's aware.
As a fielder,
it's just as a way of not having to. I was probably bowling a spell at the time, and I'm not fielding in between overs. But leg spinner's gone up for an appeal, LBW, right? And that he smashed it, probably 6 inches onto his pad. Umpire stuffed him. Dan's turned round, and I accepted the decision. Looked at me because we're pals anyway, and I went, no, I'm not having that. You stay where you are. I'm withdrawing the appeal. Bowler's gone absolutely nuts. And I've gone, no, he's absolutely smashed it. I mean, he's not like a little nick. He's absolutely collided with it and belted it into his front pad. That's not why I play the game. I don't play the game to get cheap wins. And I think that in this situation, take the laws of the game out of it. What do we play the game for? And this is a conversation that we've had to have about a number of different things. Why do people play the game? You play the game because you love the game, and to compete and win in the fairest possible way on a level playing field is the best way to win a game. Now, fair play to Shakib for coming out and playing the innings that he did, because he would have been wearing all sorts, you'd expect, from the Sri Lankans. And I know he talked about it, feeling like he was at war and as a captain wanted to win the game and in any way possible. Let's also not forget that he's had his problems before. So, in terms of being banned for I think it was match fixing, wasn't it?
Alleged.
I'm not on that. Alleged, yeah. But for me, I'm just like, I just don't like it. Same as Mancadin. Fair enough. If he's got 6 seconds, he's at the crease. He's at the crease, right? And it's an obvious malfunction with his helmet. There has got to be some semblance of like common sense, really. Like, that it's just bad for the game. It puts a stain on the game. What could have been, obviously Bangladesh ended up winning it pretty easily. I know it got a bit tight towards the end, but like, come on, lads. It's a hollow victory for me, that.
I don't dispute what you're saying, and I actually agree 100% with why you play the game and why you do it. For me, you've got to be smart. You've got to be smarter, because there are some people that will do whatever it takes to win. So, and this is what I'm saying, when, like, as with Johnny Bairstow, as with the Mancad, if you're putting yourself in a position where someone can take advantage of you, then that's not smart. That's naive, stupid cricket. And at the end of the day, he's got 2 minutes, which we got the maths wrong earlier, by the way. It's 100 seconds. 120 seconds, but everyone else did it in 100 seconds.
But I said it's a minute and 40.
Yeah, we got it right.
I thought you said 140.
Yeah, we got it right.
I was like, well, no, that's not right. But no, so if he gets out there in 90 seconds, which when you think about it, is 1 second per yard. Like, you don't have to move the quickest to do that. 1 second per meter, and you can be out the crease in 90 seconds. If he's there and with 30 seconds left, takes guard. I'm all for people having the routine. If he takes guard and then like Steve Smith does, and like a lot of these players, you should have a fiddle with your kit once you've taken guard and something happens. I completely agree. But what he's done by cutting it so fine is put himself in a position where anything going wrong can do it. Now, I'm not saying I agree with what Shakib's done. If it was me as a captain, I 100% wouldn't do it. But we all know there's people like that out there. So why put yourself in a position and in a situation where there's a chance that person, because that's not on that person.
So, okay. So just to go back to, and I'm not questioning you. I just want to raise a point for me, because if I'm thinking it, I'm sure other people listening will be thinking it. If you've got 120 seconds, and as you said, you're out there in 90, and your helmet goes, you're trying to tell me that in 30 seconds, your helmet can go, you can realise what's happened, you can call to the dressing room, they can get you a helmet, and you're
No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying, within 30 seconds, you can take guard, and you could be ready.
It's the wording of the law, right? It's the wording of the law.
And this is where the law needs clarification a little bit, because what is ready, and as I said last night on the thing, for me, ready is the umpire drops his arm and calls play. Because ready can therefore mean a whole different list of things with how long is the bowler's run up, what it is. He was thick for a start because he just called straight for, well, as soon as it broke, if he'd have taken God, stood up and paced the ball, he's done. Yeah. He's only facing a left arm spinner, and all he's got to do is block it.
But your initial thought would not be that. No, your initial thought was like,
wouldn't be worried about 2 minutes.
My initial thought, I'd like to think, would be that. It's either a look at the captain and look at the umpire and go, how long have I got?
Oh, you'd maybe go to the umpire and say, look, this has happened, rather than just calling. Yeah, I agree with that. And so, I tell you now, your initial thought would not be, how much time have I got?
Well,
it's not.
Yeah, no, mine would be.
I'm sorry.
Because my first thought when I saw it yesterday was, why is he not facing the ball? Why is he not just facing the ball?
Here's another good question then. Yeah, here's a question. How many times has this happened to you? And I think it's happened to me once, and I've seen it happen hundreds of times on a cricket field. You forgot to put your box in. You call somebody to come. You call somebody to come and give you your box. I guarantee you, it's over 2 minutes every single time that happens.
Yeah, but that's because in club cricket you get 3 minutes.
Which is still over 3 minutes.
Nah, well, the thing is, I've had it before where I've had to put pads on.
Maybe not.
I've had it before where I've had to put pads on. Like, wicket's fall, and I'm sat there, no pads on. You put pads on, you leg it out there, and you just take on, you collide with the first one. And then you stand and sort your kit out.
Interesting. I thought you had to be on the field.
No.
Yeah, see, a lot of people would tell you that as long as you're on the pitch, it doesn't matter. Right. You've just got, you can then finish getting dressed when you're out there.
Therefore, that's people that don't know the laws and know what the fact that the law says ready to face. Otherwise, all people would do is just walk on the pitch. You've only got how far? And this is what I mean.
One thing,
2 points.
Smart cricket.
Fashionable is now going to be a new word.
Right. No, so this is what I was about to say, Eugene. I disagree with you about the recreational game. And I'll tell you why. There have been a number of occasions. So as captain, and we've all captained, right? I always tend to get on with umpires pretty well, and the oppo. Like, I'll play hard, but I'll always have a beer and after a game, and try and play in that kind of hard but kind of cheeky, fun way. Like, there's always respect. There have been a number of times where people have been over 3 minutes, and I've gone to the umpires and gone, "How's that?"
That's you, Jono. That's you. Think about. I know a number of clubs that are going to be doing this next year. I'm not going to name any names.
The umpires then have looked at me and just gone, "Not out," because ultimately it rests on the umpire. Umpires in the recreational game do not look at their watch straight away at the fall of a wicket and go
self-umpiring.
Huh?
Self-umpiring teams. Watch.
In which
going to start happening.
Yeah, I don't dispute what you're saying about Dan. perhaps down some of the where some of these decisions are slightly more. I mean, you see LBWs get given out and not out, and you see all these kind of bits and bobs with the game. Yeah, I'm not saying it, but for me, that is, you can't do anything about LBWs. You can't.
No,
like
the law needs to be adjusted then, because if you've got people umpiring their own game, this can't be allowed, because there are going to be court cases, fights, murders, stabbings.
No, I mean, but I think there would have been already. Like, let's not over-egg this. There would have been.
If you start doing doubts.
No, this isn't a new law.
No, I know.
It's not a revelatory one that someone's just come up with and gone, oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't disagree with you. But what Eugene's saying is, this has never really gone on before. Same as Mankad's. He expects this now to start coming into the game. So although this isn't a new thing, if what Eugene is expecting to happen starts happening, then this will cause massive fights. Huge.
Yeah, I think if it does happen, yes, there will be a fight. And if it happens unfairly, then there will be an even bigger fight. However, I can't see this taking off in the recreational game, because you get more time.
I hope not.
You get more time. There's not as much on the line, so to speak. Yes, you get the odd arsehole, but you're still gonna. I hope it doesn't, and I don't think it will. So for me, it's another example. It's another learning thing for 12-year-olds to sit and look at and go, right, because the amount of time you see people, like, it was always a thing when I was growing up that the next two batters would always have full kit on. And then as you slowly but surely get further into senior cricket, it's just the next batter that's got full kit on, and perhaps.
Well, I'll make So Clint, who we all know very, very well, when playing for me, I was due to go in after him, and I've always had this thing about being ready. So whether it's me or whether it's the lads, I've always liked in my teams, because you never know what's going to happen, the next two to be padded up. And Clint's so laissez-faire about stuff. And he was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so I just went and got my stuff on. Next wicket falls, as it happened. And I walk out because I couldn't see him. Now, as it happens, he was just walking out of the change rooms. You know, he'd gone at the fall of the previous wicket. And then I got 20 not out, whatever. And he wasn't very happy about it. But I was just like, you know, I can't concentrate if I'm not, I just want, you know, certain things that you want. So people prepare in certain ways, right? And that was one of mine. I'd always rather my next two lads to be ready rather than just one.
But I think that's where you've got to adapt to the people around you. So as a
no, because I'm captain, so they've got to adapt to me. Final question on this before we move on. That's the beauty of being the host. Brilliant innings from Shakib yesterday, no question. The problem is that Shakib went to war and played this brilliant knock, and Bangladesh got a brilliant win against Sri Lanka, who most people would not have expected them to beat. No one remembers that. Everyone remembers Angelo Matthews being the first person to be timed out. Same as Brody shouting at Pat Cummins. This is all you'll be remembered for. People are still talking about it now.
Whose fault is it?
I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't disagree with you.
And if you're making decisions based on what you're going to be remembered for, you're a fucking arrogant tosser.
Thank you very much.
Like, that for me is the end of it.
First time I've heard that.
Like, if you're solely making decisions on, oh my God, is this going to look shit on me? Oh my God, whatever. Then am I going to be remembered for this? They're playing professional sport. This is no one's fault but Angelo Matthews. There's only one person at fault for this. Could you question?
Apart from the bloke in the change room who fiddled with his helmet just before.
Apart from the bloke with the scissors, just nick the old
Missouri.
Yeah,
I was joking when I said Missouri. By the way, it wasn't Missouri's fault. It just happened.
Yeah.
Before they try and take us to court for defamation of character.
I'll take it. Just you.
But there's only, and this is for me where people need to grow up a little bit. And yes, can you question Shakib Al Hasan? Can you question it? And is that a surefire sign of defence when you go, I know I've got this wrong. We know we've got something wrong, but I'm going to pick up. I'm going to shout at you. And it's the same as Brody did with his thing. And you can question it all day, but I'm someone who personally believes that if you're a stickler for the laws and the rules, and I believe that laws and rules, you watch American sport, and it doesn't matter what law it is, how petty it is. If a law or a rule gets broken, it gets penalised. It's a bit like when you see footballers putting the ball just outside the D for a corner, just inside. Right, just put it inside the D. Why are you being a dick? Like,
well, they're stretching the extent of the rule.
They're not. They're breaking it. They're breaking it. They're breaking the rule, but they know that people will go, "Oh, what does it actually matter?" Well, it matters because it's.
But we're some linesman and referee. The linesman's always looking over it.
No. But you know what I'm saying. Like, if that then happened and the linesman looks at you, what are people going to say? They're going to blame the linesman. For me, the linesman's not at fault. Like the same way in cricket and sport, we'll go, "Oh, is it the officials?" No, it's MJ Matthews' fault. It's not the bloke's fault for appealing. You can disagree with him. You can disagree saying, "Would I have appealed?" That's fine, but you can't say that Shaki Val's, and yes, and he's done it, knowing full well that he probably knew he was out of the tournament for the rest of it as well because he's broke his finger, and so right, I'm going to start.
He did that batting though, didn't he?
I don't know. But
anyway, right, okay.
Before we move on, before we move on, your thing about breaking the rules. When you nick a ball and you stand, is that not breaking the rules? And we'll move on there.
I've always walked, so I won't know.
I'm the same as you, Robert. I'm the same as you.
I've always been a walker.
To Jono's point, when you start stretching the law, then it becomes a bit
But I think that's the difference between an appeal
outside the D
and in cricket. Sorry, a little bit. There's a reason why in cricket there is an appeal and there is someone there to give the decision based on who's in a better view and in a better position than any of the players who are involved in it. And it's down on them. I mean, we've seen in this tournament with reviews when people think that, that's miles down leg side, and it's not, whether we believe in, God forbid, in DRS, and now it's been
Mitch Starks today was good.
I
don't know if you saw it.
We're going to move on. And one thing we haven't talked about yet is the spirit of cricket. Now, and the spirit of cricket can kind of bridge the previous conversation and this conversation, because the first question I want to ask is, was what Glen Maxwell did to the Afghans today in the spirit of cricket? Because I don't think
Well, go on, what do you think?
One of the best knocks I've ever seen in my life. Very simply. I mean, the guy could barely stand. He spent more than 2 minutes on the floor getting himself seen to, so he could have been timed out. No, he couldn't have. But there was a time when I saw Jonathan Trott walk up to the side of the field and say, "How long is this going on for?" Talking to the fourth up, maybe the fifth official, whoever it was. I mean, what an unbelievable knock to take Australia from, 91 for 7 to win the game, 7 wickets down. Just I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. I left watching it going, I don't think I'm going to see a better knock than that in my life, considering what he was going through, the permutations of the game, the influence of the game, because Australia quite possibly could have not qualified for the semis if Australia didn't win that. So many different permutations from that point of view.
I think it's the best innings that's ever been played. Never mind Lara getting 500, Lara getting 370, all that. But like you say, with everything that went off, chasing 290, one bloke gets 201 and single-handedly knocks off, all but 12 of 200 for the last wicket with your mate. I think Pat Cummins has played the greatest innings I've ever seen there.
Well, hold on. Whoa,
sorry.
I like that. Yeah.
Like, no.
I know, maybe third. No, second best supporting role innings ever, behind one Jack Leach.
You're going to go Jack Leach one. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you're going to say that, then you've got to go back to Bob Willis once put on 150 with Ian Botham and got one. I think, was it Michael Holding once put on 200 and something with Viv Richards and got one. But that was in a test match. So I think that
it was the fact that he couldn't move his feet. Now, there's a caveat to this, because, we'd have all been listening to the commentary on Sky, and their guy, Naveen, their seamer, because up front, let's not forget, the Afghans bowled fantastically well.
Yeah.
But Naveen's going, well, he'll miss one eventually. I'm just going to keep bowling at middle stump, and eventually he'll miss one. And he didn't miss one, and he kept disappearing into the stands. But, Ponting's on there, Atherton, Shane Watson, Matthew Hayden, all these greats of the game. They're going, hold on, why is he not bowling into the pitch 2 feet outside off stump? Because that's where he's got no power, because he's got no base, because he can't, at that point, he couldn't move.
No, but when he did do that once, he aimed for 6 over third man.
Well, yeah, that was, the reverse.
Which was single-handedly the most... from a bloke that can't bend over to get himself into that and do that was, I can't think of. I can remember watching AB de Villiers when he got that 150 in 8 balls or whatever it was against the West Indies in the not the previous World Cup, 2015 World Cup, I think it was, and he was stood there looking at it and going, "How on earth has he got that?" Like he played a couple of it's not even a paddle sweep, is it? It can't be a paddle sweep if it gets a 6. Like it's like a down up scoop that went out of wherever the frick the World Cup was in 2015.
New Zealand and Australia, wasn't it?
Well, it might have landed somewhere in Papua New Guinea, but like a hashtag geography for everyone that's aware of that. But no, that for me was a shot that's just
hashtag geography.
Yeah.
You've just picked a place that you've heard that might be somewhere near New Zealand or Australia.
I definitely know it's in the Southern Hemisphere.
No, I know.
And
yeah,
Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia.
Fiji would have been good.
I could have gone Fiji, but that's closer than Papua New Guinea. So, and I thought he went further than that.
Yeah, true.
Put that in your pipe and do whatever you want to it.
Chop it.
But no, he was just, yes, he got dropped on 33 by one of the biggest goobers since Herschel Gibbs. Thanks, huge. And the bowling may not have been the Mae West, if I'm being completely honest. Some of the captaincy was also could have been frowned upon. I mean, if Justin Langer had the whole Australia game watch in real time the last 4 hours of that Headingley test when Ben Stokes was doing what he did, I hate to think what Jonathan Trott's going to be doing to Afghanistan tomorrow in some kind of TV room and watch that back. But it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I don't think I've ever seen an innings like it. I can't think of one, and I don't think I'll ever. If I do get to see one again, then fair enough. Like I'll be a very, very happy man.
I watched Ben Stokes get 184, 185 at the Oval at the back end of the summer, which was pretty impressive. But I mean, nowhere near as impressive as this. Well, what I want to do, gentlemen, I want to go through the game because I think it's only fair that we do that because tonight's podcast is about today's game. Solid opening partnership, to be fair, for Afghanistan. Ibrahim scoring the Afghanistan's first ever World Cup 100, 129, 143, 8 4s, 3 6s. Talk to me about the captain. Now, yes, we obviously discussed this at the time and we're thinking about it, but then the Sky Comms team backed us up with it, especially Ricky Ponting, which was nice of him, by saying that the captain, Hashmat, came in and was so defensive. You know, we've had a lot of chat about Afghanistan having these targets, haven't we, by point A, point B. Let's say it's at 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 overs. They'd obviously set the stall out to try and get to, 280, 290. The highest ever record chase there previously was 286, I think, the highest successful run chase previously. And they kind of set the stall out from there. But he went 26 from 43 and almost sent their whole innings into reverse. Omazai then came out 22 off 18, 2 6s caught on the edge. But they kind of lost a lot of momentum. Now, do we think that they could have pushed on to, 310, 320? I mean, not that, in hindsight, it wouldn't have changed the game, but what do we think? Did they make the most of their 50 overs with the bat?
I think they did. I mean, when you look at the foundation that they set, 290 should have won the game had Maxwell been caught on 33 off an absolute goober. All of a sudden that game is dead and buried and, they end up winning by 200 runs or maybe not 200, 150 runs, call it whatever it might be. So from my perspective, I think you can't look at that in isolation and go, they should have scored 350 because Maxwell came off. And I think they set the stall to go get as close as they could to 300, given that the bowlers were doing what they were doing with the ball. He needed to absorb some of that pressure and then give the likes of Rashid Khan and Mohammad Nabi and, the rest of the team. I mean, Rashid Khan came in and did his job, scoring 35 off 18. So he did the class and Miller. I'm thinking about other superlatives in India that could have done something similar.
Jadeja.
Jadeja, that's a good shout. So, yeah, I think he did the right thing. I know he only scored, 26 or 43? He did his job, in my opinion. I think it was good.
Thoughts on Rashid Khan was caught by and then called back by the third umpire. Did you see it?
I've not actually seen that one.
Yes.
I was out. I think one thing I will say, and this is when the game had just finished, and I was walking to get out my little boy from my mum and dad, and I was listening to it on the radio, and that's, you've just witnessed an innings like that in Maxwell's innings, and someone feels the need to comment on a third umpiring decision that probably might have made 5 runs difference, maybe 10 runs difference. I don't know. Like, he got 30 at the end of the day. It wasn't like the guy that dropped Maxwell on 33 and he gets 200. Like, we've all spoken and agreed on the fact that in a lot of other sports, it's easy just to hammer people and talk about negatives within what can or could or couldn't happen in the game. And the fact, like, even so, the fact that a guy's got 20 or 40 balls, let's be talking about the fact that we have witnessed today one, in my opinion, the best innings that's ever been played, certainly in World Cup cricket, comfortably by a mile. You can then form an argument across Test cricket and other one-day games that may or may not have been played. Like, let's just talk about it. Yeah, we can all sit there and necessarily pick at someone got this wrong, a third umpiring decision. Like, at the end of the day, Maxwell was given out and walked off at one stage, and it was only when
he was busy walking off because he thought it was LB.
Then come in and shout at him and went, well, you may as well review it. And he's done that.
And he wasn't out, by the way. He wasn't given out. He reviewed it. So the LBW, the umpire on field gave him out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He then, cool.
Yeah, he's
so he reviewed it.
Yeah, he's reviewed it and kind of gone, oh no, I'm dead. But then, so like we can sit there and analyze those to the nth degree. I think while we've witnessed what we've witnessed, at the end of the day, we've all said Afghanistan getting around 300, chasing around 300 or setting around 300. If their seamers can keep them in the game, they'll win the game because the spinners are class.
That's what I wanted to bring up. And I don't know if it's because the World Cup has been that long that we've seen climate change happen over the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks, however long it's been. But has the ball started to swing more in the second innings?
They've started using a juke in the second innings. That's the problem.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to bring it up as an excuse for why South Africa lost to India so badly, but that ball was doing so much that nobody could, you give them another 6 goes and I don't think they would have got a bat on it. And we saw that with the the Afghan bowlers today. The way that they were bowling, the amount of swing that they were getting against the Aussies,
I think India is such a massive country that the conditions will vary through, depending on where they are. Yeah. I mean, that was going to be my next point. I was going to say, I don't think yet we've given Afghanistan the credit they deserve for the part they played in what was a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Naveen and Asmatullah, the way they bowled with the new ball was absolutely phenomenal. Warner, it was nice to see him get pulled up, wasn't it? But, he was lucky. There was one that went just over middle leg stump the over before, but he's obviously then decided that, I've just played out a maiden to this bloke. I've got to get on top of him, and he's lost his off stump. But the surprise throughout this entire tournament for me, from the Afghan bowling attack perspective, has been Majid. He's not picked up a load of wickets today. He's gone for 72 off a ball less than 9 overs. Nabi only bowled 2 overs 20 today. Noor Ahmed 10 overs, none for 53. Rashid 2 for 44, but Rashid late on in the piece threw his toys out. I don't know if you watched that. There was one where he tried to stop it with his foot going up towards kind of short mid-on, missed it. Then they ran through for a single, and then he absolutely lost his mind at long on, as if to say, how have you not gone in and stopped him running a single? Like, no, Rashid, it's definitely your fault. He kept spraying this bloke for about 10 minutes, which I felt a bit sorry for him for. But, they must be really hurting today because, that had, and we were talking about it on text earlier, weren't we, on WhatsApp? What could that have done for them to beat England, to win 4 games, push themselves level on points with Australia? They had an opportunity to really, improve their net run rate and hurt Australia's. That'll be a real sore thing for them tomorrow. Maybe Jonathan Trott won't go absolutely balmy at them because that's probably not what they need. They probably need a bit of an arm around the shoulder now rather than giving them an absolute spray. And because I think they will probably know within their own minds where they've gone wrong. But I think they can be very proud of the part in which they played in that game as a unit, and also the what they've managed to achieve throughout this World Cup.
Yeah.
It does mean a lot for the permutations towards the end of this tournament, though, because if you look at the remaining games, it now becomes very, very tight, especially if you believe what the weatherman says in that the New Zealand-Sri Lanka game might be rained off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so a lot going on in terms of the permutations now. So, there was a very good chance that if that game was rained off, that, if results went their way and, England and Pakistan went England's way, that Afghanistan could have qualified.
Yeah.
But that's obviously changed it slightly now. So, yeah, there's so many different permutations towards the end of this tournament. I mean, there's 2, 4, 6 games left. That's it. So, we stop the pod on Sunday for a 2-day break, believe it or not.
Oh, wallop.
I'm sure people will be happy to know that. But yeah,
I mean, those who'd be happy to know that probably don't listen anyway, huge. I'll be honest.
True. I asked this in the WhatsApp group. What is it going to take for England to go 7th on net run rates? I don't know.
Well, they only need to go 8th, don't they? Because it's top 8 now. It's been confirmed because Pakistan are 5th.
Yeah, but when you look at the standings, if England win tomorrow against the Netherlands, they move to 4 points. Bangladesh are also on 4 points.
Same as Sri Lanka.
But their net the to go 7th, you need to have a net run rate of, I guess, more than minus 1.142. So I don't know what that margin of victory needs to look like for England to go 7th. Look, I still think they need to win their next game in order to make sure that they're absolutely qualified to get for the game.
I think we need to win both.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're certainly not out of the woods, even if they win tomorrow. I mean, our current run rate is minus 1.504, Netherlands minus 1.398, Sri Lanka minus 1.160, Bangladesh minus 1.142. So, yeah, it's going to be tight. England need to win both games.
I'll tell you what, if that is to be believed, and that Sri Lanka versus New Zealand game does get rained off, not only does that stuff New Zealand out of sight, potentially, but it
stuffs Bangladesh.
No, because they then go on to 5 points. And so you're then reliant on all the others. Bangladesh, but it helps Sri Lanka in that they'll then go on to 5 points. And then all of a sudden the 3 below them on 4 and all got big games if England beat Netherlands.
Yeah.
And if England beat Pakistan.
But no, that's what I'm saying. The last round, the last round of games, other than that, is Bangladesh, Australia, England, Pakistan, Netherlands, India, and they've all got to win, and they've all got to try and do something that means that they get out of the bottom 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's
let's just hope that there's a game that gets on for the New Zealand game, right? New Zealand Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
Which is on Thursday, I believe. So right. Well, gentlemen, again, I think it's the second time we've had a 3-ball, isn't it? During the World Cup dailies, which has been nice. We shall leave it there. I mean, look, only one thing to say. Today has been all about Glen Maxwell. Phenomenal performance. Not a massive surprise to any of us, nor probably any of you listening, because we always know he's had some special things in the locker. Yeah, that Australian train keeps rumbling on, doesn't it? And they kind of look, not dangerous today because one man's got them out of the shit. But, that will give them a lot more confidence. The team that knows they can win from any position becomes even more dangerous. And it wouldn't be the first time we've seen Australia look a little bit weak during a competition to go on and do pretty well in it. So thank you very much, as always, for joining us. Thank you to you two for joining me. I don't know who's going to be recording tomorrow, but 2 of us will. Maybe even 1. Maybe all 3. Who knows? You'll have to wait and find out. But for now, thanks very much. We'll see you soon. Lots of love. Ta-da.